Okay, so for my demonstration today, I'm going to show you how to use Read Write Google and how it can help students for a reading or scribe accommodation. It's pretty simple, like most things Google. So you just have to have the tab open and you will see the little purple icon. You can hide it or show it. All of our accounts for Read Your Public automatically have it available for use, and we have some special exam accounts worked up as well that have all of the exam settings on it. You can see the toolbar at the top is relatively-ish self-explanatory. Play, pause, stop, most important for being read. And then over here, the speech input, as well as a translate function. We will look at those later, and highlighter options. In the little tool settings box as well, there's all kinds of things you can do. So over here, you've got a list of number of different voices that you can use. When it says French or Brazilian Dutch, it just means that it's spoken in an accent. I don't find it particularly clear, but I don't speak Dutch. So perhaps if I was having English read to me as a native Dutch speaker, I might appreciate that voice. A lot of our kids really like Karen, the Australian vocalizer. I'm going to use Tom for us today because I find him to be the most clear. You can also speed up or slow down how fast he reads. You can choose to have continuous reading. If you uncheck that box, then it means that it will only read to the punctuation, and so you'll have to manually control the reading. There's also different features. So prediction, for example, if I was to use this in an exam situation for someone who needed a scribe, you would have to turn the word predictor off. All of our exam accounts have that automatically set to be turned off. And then dictionary, play, pause, stop, speech maker, speech input, etc., etc., etc. So you can even limit the colors of highlighters you have available to you if you know, for example, that a student is colorblind perhaps and they don't see green. Yeah, so as always, Google has lots of different settings. So I'm going to show you how it reads to us first, and then we'll do an example of scribing. Here we go.
Social 10-1. Related Issue 1, Unit Exam. For the following questions, please mark the correct answer on the Scantron form provided. Total 50 marks. 1. The term globalization can best be described as A. The economic necessity of trade between nations. B. The importance of military cooperation between nations. C. The cultural diffusion of various cultures between nations. D. A complex term used to describe the interdependence between nations.
So you can see that the pronunciation of words is pretty well done. Scantron, I think, was a little bit weird, but that's not a term used in everyday language, really. So that's, to me, excusable. It's pretty user-friendly. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, that's great. You know, it can read line by line by line. What happens when you get to a source? Well, and this will bring me to the second app I'm going to show. Read Write Google will read PDF items. However, sometimes they don't necessarily read in order. So like, for example, this source has separate boxes. Or further down, we have this in a box, or we even have some cartoons. Read Write Google can't read this cartoon. So what are we going to do about that? Well, my example that I have up here, I recorded the audio for the Globe, the Post, the Sun, and the Times. And if a student were to click on this link, it would open up this window and they could hear the description of the Globe.
The Globe. USA and Canada trade most with one another.
The same would be true for the Post, the Sun, or the Times. They all link to an audio file that I put in my drive. And when it's linked to the exam, then it will open up a new window to play the audio file for them. This is probably one of the more cumbersome parts. It's not super slick, it's not completely finessed, but it definitely works and has helped us out a lot with accommodations. So for the audio files, oops, sorry, clicking around here, I used this voice recorder. I just got it off Apple. It's a free source. I recorded, you can see I have a whole bunch of files recorded. I have our final exams from this January recorded for 10-2, 21, and Social 9. I also did the 10-1 and 22 as well, just recorded at a different time. This was really user-friendly, so you just click the microphone and it would record. They all export as an M4A audio file, so it's really easy to use. For exams in January, I uploaded everything to iTunes and then put them on USB sticks so that each kid got their own USB stick and went into the computer lab with headphones, and it worked like a charm. So Read Write Google would have been better. I didn't have our exams loaded up. You can even see this one is really just a test. There's a lot of formatting issues that are not fantastic. Google doesn't really always translate that well from Word, so it takes a little bit of time to fix those things up. But the tool, as far as the students are concerned, is very user-friendly. So we will quickly show an example of how it can scribe for a student as well. So again, I opened a new document and the Read Write Google popped right up. So we're going to speech input and it's listening, period. So you can see that it's hearing everything I'm saying and copying it down right on the page, period. New paragraph. It is quite intelligent, so it works really well for students, and they seem to appreciate and understand how to get it to use punctuation fairly easily, period. Okay, so that is the end of my demonstration for reading, scribing, and if you have to record your voice as well. If you don't have Read Write Google, I know a lot of places use Dragon Diction, so that's definitely a consideration as well. We do have this on some of our iPads at school for students because we didn't have access, or Read Write Google wasn't approved initially. So we have used Dragon Diction as well, or dictation. I find Read Write Google more user-friendly, but that might just be my opinion. So if you need help using Read Write Google, you know where to look. Thanks.